Hi, Robin.
Hi, Abid.
How you doing
I'm good.
Yeah, we're done with the conference. This is sort of like a wrap at the end of it.
Yeah,
But
what'd you think?
I loved it. It was a fantastic conference.
I loved it too. That was great information,
Yeah.
like really good energy. People were really excited to be here. It's great.
Yes. This is the second year that we're doing this. Second year I've been here, and I'm really grateful to be able to have done it. And
Same.
yeah, and seeing all the familiar faces, it really feels like home, and everybody is so welcoming. It feels very much like a family event.
I agree.
It's challenging because our brains are being active the whole time. There's new stuff.
Tired, yeah.
We're out there presenting new information. This year, you brought up a lot of new info for COVID, and I mean, how are you getting this information? You've been on the forefront of this since the beginning.
Yeah, so for the last 6 years, I've been knee deep in it. I think it's just about the connections you make, like as you sort of navigate your way through that whole world of research, like clinical research,
Yeah.
and then also bridging, over to science, bench
Yeah.
research, and just you meet person after person that sort of like shares your same values and like has your same passion for this, and it's insane. Like it just becomes like almost like a pyramid. Like you're just like built, or I don't know, a domino effect. Like you're just one after the other
Yeah.
and you just meet this one and get connected to that one, and you just are able to do the work that you didn't know you were so passionate about doing, but
Yeah.
it becomes a passion of yours because it's so fascinating, right? And like nobody is really doing the work or understands what needs to be done, and it's literally, I think, probably one of the biggest humanitarian crises of our time.
That's right.
Like with tens of millions, if not more, even Americans alone that have been impacted after having the virus or being exposed to the spike protein.
Tell me what life was like for you before COVID. What was your practice like, and what was the transition
So
like?
I was a conventional gastroenterologist. I was practicing what I call McMedicine, seeing 30 patients a day. What they call gastroenterologist scoping for dollars. Although I wasn't your typical gastroenterologist, I actually had more patients that I saw in the office than I scoped because
Yeah.
I always was of the mindset, like I had more of like an integrative, like, functional, like mindset of getting to root cause. And I always like tried to have my patients like do certain things with their nutrition and like movement and stress. And I was a big, probiotic, like prebiotic person. And I always believed like these functional bowel disorders that everybody was going around scoping right away.
Yeah.
And these patients didn't have like alarm symptoms, right? Their labs weren't abnormal. They weren't bleeding,
Yeah.
nothing weird like that. And I was like, why don't we just like try to get them better, right? Like, why don't we, and like 9 out of 10 times the patients would get totally better
Yeah.
by doing these other lifestyle interventions, by using natural compounds that our body knows how to use, right? Getting them to eat the right way. And then, using some other maybe conventional things here and there to just bridge the gap until they felt totally better. But I was always like that. And so then I sort of like found the Institute of Functional Medicine,
Okay.
where I literally, Abid, I went through it in a year. They said they've never had anybody like finish their courses in even less than 3 years. Like I was up till like, I was literally, I'm not kidding you, like I was up until 3 a.m. some nights, and I was like practicing full time as a gastroenterologist.
Yeah.
My kids and my husband, they're like, where the hell is she? Like I was literally up to all, because I had such a big why. And the
Yeah.
more I learned about, root cause medicine, like going upstream, I felt like a charlatan. I was like, how do I practice medicine this way?
I get it.
Like just doing a pill for every ill, band-aiding it, like name it, blame it, tame it, send them on their way. And I just felt like, oh my God. And the other reason why I became a doctor was I really always wanted to genuinely heal people.
Yeah.
And I felt like the way we practice in the conventional space, like I don't feel like I'm healing anyone. I don't feel like I'm connecting with anyone. And I just was depressed. I was depressed.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was really depressed, and I needed to find, I had such a big why, right? And so that why drove me to get into that, finish that IFM certification. And then
Sure.
from there, it's like you wind up meeting all these different people and going through down all these different rabbit holes. So then I became like a gut microbiome, big gut microbiome person. It was sort of like natural as a
That's right.
gastroenterologist. And I was already doing stuff with nutrition and probiotics and prebiotics and things like that. And I had studied a lot about that too, or self-taught myself,
Yeah.
right? March of 2020, right when COVID happened,
Yeah.
right? I incorporated Terrain Health.
Okay.
And then I gave my notice at
So
my...
were you in a group?
No, by myself.
Really?
I bootstrapped the whole thing
Wow.
myself. I had this business partner at the time, and he helped me, and we assembled this small little team to get things off the ground. And while I was still seeing patients, like in my conventional medical practice, I was sort of on the side trying to like build a little bit of a practice. And I was just so burnt, so depressed. I hated the conventional medical space. I hated corporate medicine. I hated that we couldn't do what we wanted to do, what was best for the patient. There was always like Big Brother looking over you,
Yeah.
breathing down your neck. You have to click this new button in order to get like, paid. Like, honestly, it was just crazy.
It is.
So, then I gave my notice in June of 2020, and then I was full on Terrain Health as of October 1st of 2020.
And then not only is it Terrain Health, but you were doing research for COVID.
Yeah.
And then you've been instrumental in manucidals also.
So the guys from Medicinal, so Joachim Gerlach, like he's brilliant. He's actually just an engineer. He has an engineer brain, and he worked with Stephanie Seneff and a lot of other brilliant, PhDs and scientists. Like before the pandemic really hit, like when they saw things that were going on in China, and they created this beautiful, like sort of polyphenol compound based around the pathways that this, SARS-CoV-2 was like taking out, and it was to protect their family and friends, right?
That's
they wanted
right.
to have something on board. And then I didn't find it though until like 3 years ago or so. Somebody sent it to me, and at that point, it's like, you leave conventional medicine because you're practicing polypharmacy.
Yeah.
God, I was like practicing green pharmacy because I just had all these patients on so many different compounds because I was trying to get to this pathway, that
That's
pathway,
right.
and and so they sent me and I'm like, wow, this is great. And I saw like how they synergistically worked on all the different pathways. I'm like, wow, if I could just give this one thing, I can get rid of like 9, 10, 12 other things.
Yeah.
So I wound up starting to talk to them, and I became fast friends with Joachim, and he literally mentored me and taught me so much more than I ever thought I could imagine, right?
Wow.
And so we were able to bridge the gap between like sort of more bench research and clinical research, and I collaborated with him, using medicinals, but not just that, like a bunch of other things that worked synergistically because it's such a beast of a disease, and we had to address so many different systems and really get the patients to feel better to even get better, right?
Yeah.
So that's how I wound up getting involved with Medicinal Nine too. Yeah.
It's a great evolution from your career as a traditional gastroenterologist, and it really reflects your brilliance. I mean, to be able to take all of the information, all of the things that COVID does, and compile it into something that we can learn. I mean, I'm still digesting all of your slides. I still go over them.
Oh,
and
that's so nice. That's
and
such a compliment coming from you.
And learning what it is that you're saying about all of the specific ways that it affects us. And there's a lot of information there. For you to be able to integrate all of that, you've been in it, and you've got a sense of it. It's like you're a whisperer of that. Medicinal Nine. I keep pronouncing it wrong anyway.
Medicinals. Yeah.
Medicinals.
It's like a play on the word because it was created in India.
Okay.
So you know how they say and don't they? Isn't it V? And that's what they told me. Like Prakash, one of the guys that helped started. It was like a play on it instead of saying medicinals.
Oh, I get it.
Yeah. Isn't that funny? I don't know.
This is a unique compound that it's all in one. You go through a lot of volume of it though, and now you've also worked on developing testing.
Yeah.
And so the two work really well together, right?
Yeah.
We need to provoke.
Yeah, it helps. It's great as a provocative agent to get spike liberated from the cells because spikes sits inside the cells. That's where it wants to be.
Yeah.
We do provoking like 2 hours before, and you can see like huge differences in the spike protein, from time 0 to 2 hours later.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
So
it gives us much more accurate results.
It's live. It's available to use.
Yeah, so we're starting to launch it. You can go to my website terrainhealth.org. We're gonna start posting things more like as we are ramping up and like we're bringing it over to the U.S. because right now a lot of the stuff's going over to Italy.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have a soft launch on our wellness journey,
That's right.
But it's gonna change a little bit. Yeah.
Okay. So where do you foresee this going? Where do you hope this is going to go? Do you feel like, and do you have the capacity to handle high volume.
So that's why we're bringing it to the U.S. And we're going to partner with a lab that can handle very high volume.
Because once the word
Yeah.
gets out that there's a way to test for spike protein, differentiate it,
Yeah.
and see if you have active,
Yeah.
if you have long COVID, this is going to be a major test.
Yeah. I think even for people that are just worried patients too,
Yeah.
they want to know if they have it harboring, if they have a high load or not, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, because, some people, they probably can detox it much better than other people, you
Yeah.
know? And so just having that information and then dealing with it, right? Because it's all like in longevity medicine, that's what we're doing. We're being proactive instead of reactive, right?
Yeah.
So instead of it letting it sit there in your body and do whatever it could be doing, right, at a cellular level and could be, rearing its ugly head 6 months down the road or
Yeah.
2 years or 10 years down the road, like, why don't we act on it now and
That's right.
get rid of it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you've brought a lot of hope to a space where people that are afflicted by long COVID really don't have a lot of hope. And
Yeah.
and a new tool, because we've at Boulder, we do have a pretty good success rate, but
I
there
know
are
you guys,
definitely
yeah.
there's definitely a subset of patients that just are really hard
Yeah.
to
Or they
treat.
remit, relapse,
That's
remit,
right.
relapse. Yeah.
And so the medicinals has brought in a great
That's
set
so
of tools.
good. I'm so grateful to hear that.
Do you see expanding medicinals? Do you think it's complete where it is? I mean, there's add-on
So they
therapies.
so they've created, the guys in Europe, they've created like a bunch of other, like their scientific team, they've created like senolescence, which is the senolytic agent. They have sequestrol, which is the binding agent. They have, they're launching a product for the gut. Actually, it's so funny because Dr. Keller, Cynthia talked about glyphosate, and glyphosate is huge, factor in adding fuel to the fire in the gut with all this other stuff going on.
Yeah.
So they have this specific humic acid product actually, because humic acid, a lot of it actually will get through, your little tiny holes that a lot of us have, because none of us have a perfect gut, and
Yeah.
it gets into the systemic circulation. This, the molecular weight of this specific humic acid only stays in the gut,
Okay.
and is super excellent at bringing glyphosate out. Like, I know
Interesting.
Cynthia also mentioned there was another product, but I know that they developed that too, because that's also playing a role in fueling the fire in that, devastation of the gut,
Yeah.
microbiome from COVID. So, yeah.
You were at the IHS last week also.
With you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great to see you in the circuit, and it's always great to see a friendly face in all
Yeah.
this. They mentioned H5N1. Is that something that you have any insight about? Has the team that's looked at COVID been mentioning or talking about H5N1?
Yeah, they started to. Which I missed that lecture. What
It was
lecture
one of
did
the
you go to?
last lectures. I forgot who it
Is
was.
that bird flu?
Yeah, there was the bird flu.
Yeah, we are looking into it. Yeah.
Crossing species
Yeah.
and potentially the next pandemic
Pandemic.
that we're worried
Yeah.
about.
Yes, we are.
And is medicinals potentially useful for
It
that?
could be very useful, yeah.
As a preventative?
Because of the it helps with both different like viruses, like not just, lipid, non-lipid envelopes, yeah.
So this is not specific to just COVID. This
No.
could be useful for other
It's
viral.
for other virus. Yeah, when I'm even feeling like I'm getting run down from any sort of like other
Interesting.
sort of like just like the common cold, or maybe I thought I was exposed to the flu or something,
Yeah.
I totally pound the Medicinal Nine.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like what would like if you feel like you're coming down
Yeah,
with the
I would go
flu?
do like a half a bottle twice a day.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Okay. For like 5 days,
Yeah,
7 days?
yeah, I would
Or-
just start doing it for like 5 days or so.
Yeah.
Yeah, just ramp up it's not going to hurt you.
Okay.
Yeah. All the people like that live in Europe, Asia, they handle the medicinals much better than the
really?
Americans. Yeah, I think like just because of their diet, they eat a little bit better than us. Like I think with the standard American diet, like the way our gut microbiomes have developed, like we don't do so great with these like high dose polyphenol compounds like
Yeah.
people do that are like east of us, like they do much better with it. So it's actually a funny thing to see when we talk about, because when I talk about with my European, the guys I do research with, they always tell me how they're like, none of our patients have issues, and we have patients having issues.
Yeah.
Not like horrible issues, but it's hard, you have to titrate them up slowly because it's like harder on the gut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is your practice now shifted to mostly COVID, or are you doing some traditional gastroenterology?
Yeah, so I don't do any traditional, like ever since I left, like all the GI, I mean, yes, do I see patients with inflammatory bowel disease
Yeah.
and functional bowel? Oh my God, totally,
Yeah.
tons. Autoimmune disease, and like we do everything, like
Mm-hmm.
all complex chronic disease states, like, yeah, we do everything. Especially with COVID, it's reactivated all
Yeah.
these like latent viruses, bacterial infections, like,
Mm-hmm.
mold, all those things. So we do it all. We do hormone replacement
Mm-hmm.
therapy. We take care of, patients like, cardiovascular stuff. Obviously, when I need a cardiologist, I know who to go to.
Sure.
But yeah, like thyroid, we do everything. Yeah.
I find it interesting that gastroenterology is one of those subspecialties that is so poorly represented in this type of medicine.
I agree.
And it's so central to this type of
Yeah,
medicine.
right?
And I really find it interesting that so few of them make the transition over when
Right.
it's so clear that they have
Yeah.
a niche that they
They
can make.
they could be a functional gastroenterologist. It's the coolest thing ever. Yeah.
And I mean, maybe they love doing the procedures because that's part of it too.
So it's funny, I don't miss it. And I did love doing procedures. Like I thought I was good at it. I liked doing that. I loved being
Yeah.
able to save people from surgery. But this type of medicine, because it's so thought provoking and it's just so rewarding on so many levels, and
Yeah.
it's also so time consuming. I'm fine. Like, people ask me all the time, don't you miss doing endoscopies and colonoscopies and removing things and stopping bleeds and all that and removing foreign bodies? I'm like, yeah, but this is so much more rewarding.
Yeah.
I don't know, when you practiced cardiology, did you do any interventional cardiology or testing or like anything like that you did?
We did a lot of testing, a lot
Yeah.
of. I mean, I still work with those, but we're heavy on echocardiograms, nuclear
Right,
stress
right. So you
tests.
did do yeah.
I was doing TEEs, transesophageal
Yeah, you were,
echoes.
okay. So
And
do you miss those?
And cardiac cats also.
Yeah,
I don't,
you were
yeah.
interventionalist, see?
I was a general non-interventionalist,
Right.
but non-invasive. So,
Okay.
or sorry, invasive non-interventional.
Okay, cool.
Um,
that's cool. I didn't know that. I
yeah.
didn't know that.
So I don't miss
Yeah.
doing cats, because cats were always.
You had to put all your lead on.
right.
You had it's like,
So cardiac cats, and then there's the risk profile. The more you do them, the more risky the cases get because more complex people start
Come to
coming to
you.
you.
Yeah.
And so there's always the stress of doing that, and then the stress of a complication, which is there's a higher sort of stress level because we're dealing with vascular structures and bleed outs are a major thing. I don't miss doing the procedures.
Yeah,
even a
I don't
TEE,
either so much, yeah.
I really enjoy this kind of medicine because I really love watching how we can tune the body to do what it's supposed to do or just help it heal itself in the best way we can.
Well, you're great at it.
Thank you. Well, Robin, before we go, I want to thank you for being the voice on the mountain that's been screaming about COVID ever since I met you for years, and bringing attention to a whole population of people that needed to be represented, and bringing awareness to something that is such a major population threat. And we wouldn't know about it if it wasn't for you, and we wouldn't know how to
thank
treat
you.
it if it wasn't for you. So thank
Thanks,
you.
Abid. I love you.
Thank you.